كن بهذا العصر من أعلامه كن بهذا العصر من أعلامه.
نستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. أما بعد, we continue the final part of Al-Mahdi, and we said that we will summarize very quickly what we said about the belief of Ahl Sunnah regarding the Mahdi, and then some of the beliefs of the Shia and how they differ from Ahl Sunnah. We said the Mahdi is a man from the family and the descendants, the lineage of the Prophet ﷺ. He will be from the descendants of Fatima radiallahu anha, Al-Hasan or Al-Hussein, Allahu Alam Al-Hasan. He will be a normal man like any other man. He is a righteous man. He is not a special man. He's not the level of the Prophet, or he doesn't have any special status except for the fact that Allah Azza wa blessed him to be Al-Mahdi. And again, Al-Mahdi is a normal man. He doesn't have any special powers. Al-Mahdi will be born a normal birth. Is he born now? Allahu A'lam. If he is born a normal birth and lives a normal life. Now, it's not like he's born and then gets into hiding or anything like that. If he is born now, he's born. If he is not born, then he'll be born in the future and he'll grow up to be a normal man. And we said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, according to the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, will fix him in one night. Meaning, as according to the majority of the ulama, that he's already righteous, but he will be a person who Allah Azza wa Jal prepares to lead the ummah in greatness overnight. So Al-Mahdi, before the Mahdi, he's righteous, but he's not a person that's ready to lead the ummah yet. Allah Azza wa Jal fixes him in one night. He will come from where? Allahu Alam. There are some narrations that allude that an army which will be led by Al-Mahdi will come from the east, from Khorasan, etc. Afghanistan today, this area, Iran. But we said that all of the ahadith that refer to the black flags, or they have the mention of black flags in them, now Allahu Alam, they're weak. And especially the parts that say they are the Mahdi. So where he will come from, Allahu Alam. Where he will come from, Allahu Alam. The people will give him bay'ah. The people will give him bay'ah because of his righteousness, because of give him bay'ah, give him the pledge of allegiance, and will support him because he is a righteous man. So they will support him, they will fight behind him, etc. Even if they don't know that he's the Mahdi yet. But because they see him, that he's on the truth. That's why they're following him. Then there are certain things which affirm that he is the Mahdi. From the clearest of examples we mentioned is Isa alayhi salam descending from heaven and praying behind Al-Mahdi. Now, this is from the clearest examples that he is the Mahdi. But we're not, there are specific signs that we're sitting looking for. Then when we find him, we straight away join him. The people follow him because they say that he's upon the truth. Jayyid. Hence, what's always important to be with the people of the truth. May Allah make us from them and be followers of theirs upon sincerity and firmness. He will rule for 7 years and then he will pass away. This is, in summary, the belief of Al-Sunnah with the Mahdi. We go to the Shia and their belief. The Shia, we also, one of the main points is that his name is Muhammad Ahmad ibn Abdullah. The Shia have a system of 12 Imams. This is where the problem with the Mahdi for the Shia begins. The issue of the 12 Imams. Originally, there's no such thing called the 12 Imams of the Shia. The emphasis that was put on that came after, a few generations after the time of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, in order to give more reputation, to give more status, to give more honor and respect to the family of the Prophet ﷺ, for it to be used as a weapon against the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. So originally it wasn't like it is how we understand it today. That's why you have different sects from amongst the Shia. The one that's most predominant now are the Ithna Ashariya, the 12 Imams. These are the ones that are the main pushers and propagators for this type of understanding. So their issue starts with the fact that they say there's 12 Imams. How the Imamah works, the main person from Ahl al-Bayt is the is one of the imams. The imam with them, he is like, as some of the ulama of the Shia have actually said it, he is more important and more greater and has a higher status than even the prophets. Some of the ulama of the Shia have actually said that. Now, so they are, if they're not better than the prophets, they're just under the prophets. They're just under the prophets. They're ma'sumin, meaning they cannot make mistakes. They cannot make mistakes. Whatever they do, it's like revelation. It's right. That's why it's good to use the A'immah against them, the statements of the A'immah against them. You have the Imam, then the next Imam after him is the oldest of his sons. The next Imam after him is the eldest of his sons. When they went down and they got to Al-Hasan al-Askari, this is the 11th Imam, Al-Hasan al-Askari. Al-Hasan al-Askari dies. He's the 11th Imam. The 11th Imam is meant to give birth to who? The 12th Imam. There's a question mark. Did Al-Hasan al-Askari even give birth? Did he even have a child from a woman, whether his wife or one of his slave girls, where he produced a child? This is the first question mark when it comes to the Shia and their belief in the Mahdi. Why? Because if you ask the Shia, who is the mother of the Mahdi? What's the response? Allahu Alam. They don't know who the mother of the Mahdi is. They'll give you many names. Rayhana, Mulaika, they give you many names. This is a big problem. Because if he is the Imam that you claim, this 12th Imam who is meant to lead the world, you don't know who his mother is, this is a problem. If you ask someone from Ahlul Sunnah, what's the name of the Mahdi's mother? We say Allahu Alam. Why? Because we weren't given any revelation, and he's not born yet for me to tell you his lineage. But you claim that he was born and you're sure that he was born. Tayyib, who's his mother? This is a problem with the Shia because they don't know his mother. Why don't they know his mother? Because Aslan, his birth is a secret. His birth with the Shia is a secret. They say that the reason, say that the Shia, they're very good at coming up with excuses. The reason that his birth was kept a secret was because the Abbasis, like Fir'aun, the Abbasis, the Abbasid Caliphate, they were killing the children of Al-Bayt. Even though they're closer to Al-Bayt than the Umayyad Empire. Anyways, they were killing the children of Al-Bayt because they were scared a leader was going to come. So when Al-Hasan al-Askari had a child, what did he do straight away? He hid the child. This causes a big problem. Because part of the iman of the Shia, the Ithna Ashariya, 12 Imams, is that you need to give bay'ah, you need to give the pledge of allegiance to the Imam that's in your time. How do you give pledge of allegiance to this Imam of your time and you don't know he's alive in the first place? You don't know he's alive. So this caused a big issue. What made it worse is that, what made this big secret worse, did he have a child or not have a child, is that they said after 3 days he was taken away. And he gave birth, and then they took him away into hiding. And he's been in hiding ever since that time. So there are claims that he wasn't born in the first place, the 12th Imam. There are claims that he was taken away straight away. There are claims that he died with his father, that he's also passed away. This is all from the Shia. There are claims that, as we mentioned, there's no mention of him whatsoever, and it's all a fabrication. All of these you find with the 12 Imams themselves. The problem is, as I mentioned, the fact that they said we have to have an Imam, and he's the 11th Imam, and so his son has to be the 12th Imam. This is where all the lies came. Tayyib, no problem, he went and he's in hiding now. Question, how long is he going to be in hiding for? Because you can imagine the Shia at that time, they're upset that our Imam, which we're waiting for, that's meant to give us victory, and he's meant to be the son of Al-Hasan, we want this person to come out so we can fight behind him. The Shia have narrations, and to them these are authentic. To them these narrations are authentic. They're not like, for example, someone bringing a narration from one of the books of Ahl-Sunnah and we say it's weak. You can't use that against us. These are books which you Shia say are authentic. From books which are in your main books like Al-Kafi, Al-Bahr Al-Muhit, etc. They come and they say, Ali radiallahu anhu said that there will be a person from my progeny, yani the Mahdi, and he will be away for 6 days, or 6 months, or 6 years. So you have either 6 days, or 6 months, or 6 years. This is an easy way to keep the Shia waiting. Because the Shia, they're willing to say, khalas, we don't have an Imam right now, but we'll be patient for 6 days or 6 months or even 6 years. When 6 days came and 6 months came and 6 years came and the Mahdi still hasn't come out, then the Shia had to make new excuses, and so there are other narrations now. These are all narrations from Al-Bayt, the family of the Prophet ﷺ. Remember, their words are like revelation, where they say, anyone who says that they know when the Mahdi is going to come out has shared Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's knowledge. Yani it's impossible to know. Tayyib, no problem. You can say it's impossible to know. But why do you say it's impossible to know after saying that it was going to come out after 6 days or 6 months or 6 years? There's a clear contradiction there. Then you have a third narration from Al-Bayt, which states, and this is one of my favorite ones, that he was going to come out after 6 days or 6 months or 6 years. But when Al-Hussein radiallahu anhu was killed and murdered, Allah got that angry at the people of the earth that he delayed his coming out, and so no one knows when he's going to come out. This is, if you remember, we spoke about it at the early stages of Al-Mahdi, Al-Bada'a. Remember we spoke about Al-Bada'a? Bada lillah. Yani Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying something and yani he changed his mind about it. He changed his opinion. This is a problem. Because when it comes to akhbar can never change. Ahkam can change. Akhbar cannot change. Difference between ahkam and akhbar. Ahkam are rulings. Alcohol is halal at the beginning of Islam. Then alcohol becomes prohibited at certain times. Then alcohol becomes haram. Did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala confused? He didn't know what to choose? A'yadhu billah, no. But Allah Azza wa Jalla is making it easy for the people to go from one stage to another stage. If Allah said alcohol is haram straight away, the people would have said, we're not going to give up alcohol, like Aisha radiallahu anha stated. So Allah Azza wa Jalla bring the rulings down in stages. Allah didn't change his mind. Allah brought it down in stages according to our capabilities. But when it comes to news, you can't change that. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that Yusuf alayhi salam is the son of Yaqub alayhi salam, can that ever change? That can never change. You cannot say in the future that Yusuf alayhi salam is the son of Ibrahim. That has to be a contradiction. Only one can be right. Is he the son of Yaqub or the son of Ibrahim? When they said that Allah Azza wa Jal got angry and bada lahu to changes, Tayyib, didn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already know that Al-Hussein was going to get killed? If Allah knew that Hussein was already going to get killed, why did he wait until he got killed to change his mind? Khalas, just say from the beginning, reveal to Ali, like they said in the first narration, reveal to Ali radiallahu anhu that it's not 6 months, or it's not 6 days or 6 months or 6 years. It's actually going to be a time that no one knows except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the reason they come out with these different narrations, depending on the contradiction at the time. Tayyib. Did the early Shia know about Al-Mahdi? The early Shia knew about the Mahdi. No doubt. The early Shia, just like the early Ahl-Sunnah, knew about the Mahdi. Did the early Shia know who the Mahdi was? Because according to the Shia now, according to the later Shia now, you have that the Mahdi was always known. They say, we have ahadith and narrations from Al-Bayt that tell us the names of all of the Imams. And the 12th one is Al-Mahdi. They say we have these narrations. You have narrations from Al-Bayt, including Ja'far as-Sadiq, that Al-Mahdi was not known. And they thought that other people from Ahl al-Bayt were actually the true Mahdi, before the 12th, around about the 6th or 7th. They thought that he was the Mahdi from the Imams. This is another contradiction. How do you say he was known? And then how do you say that you have other Shia claiming that no, he wasn't known, and we thought that person was Al-Mahdi? Clear contradiction. These types of contradictions with the Shia, they happen, and this led to the Shia breaking up into many sects. Like we said, there's the Ismailiyya, there's other sects from the Shia. They continue to break up over the issue of Imamah. Why? Because everyone makes Ahl-al-Bayt said this, and they follow it. They lie and they follow it. And this causes division. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, that if this Quran was from other than Allah, you would have found a lot of contradictions in it. You would have found a lot of contradictions in it. And this is where you find exactly with the Shia. It's contradiction after contradiction after contradiction with the own text. Not with the rulings, but with the things to do with the news. Tayyib. He ran away. Where did he run away to? He went away to Samarra. Samarra is in a place in Iraq, and he's there in hiding. What does he do? He sits there and he does nothing. Literally. He sits there and he does nothing. For 1 week, for 2 days, for 1 month, la. He sits there and does nothing for now over 1,000 or approximately now 1,200 years. Doing nothing. Can any of the Shia see him? You have some narrations from the Shia that say, no person can see him. But this is not good for business. Because what's good for business is when you can keep the tail going a little bit. So when some of the Shia scholars said, we met Al-Mahdi. We met Al-Mahdi. So the beautiful thing about the Shia is they all lie together. Wallahi, they're the best. They all lie together. Some of the Shia scholars, from the early on, they said, we met Al-Mahdi and he told us he's coming. Don't worry, he's coming. So the people waited and they waited and they waited until those scholars died and there's still no Mahdi. So what would happen from time to time, you get a new person that goes and meets the Mahdi. Mahdi, when are you going to come out? Mahdi, when are you going to come out? Mahdi, we need the answers. Mahdi, we need this. He tells them to be patient, and he tells the people, be patient, depending on the scholar. Sometimes they tell him, give victory to this country, give victory to that scholar. That person's upon the truth. He tells them different news, and he's still in hiding. He can't come out yet. Does anyone know exactly when he is? No. Can anyone say where he is? No. Can the people that claim to have seen him, can they say where he is? No. Can any of them describe Al-Mahdi? None of them can describe Al-Mahdi. There's it's just lies and fairy tales upon lies and fairy tales. So about 1,200 years, and they're waiting for the Mahdi. When will he come out? He will come out when, just like with the world has been filled with oppression and hardship, injustice, problems. This is when the Mahdi will come. To the Shia, this is a lot worse than it is for Ahl Sunnah, because Ahl al-Bayt, the family of the Prophet ﷺ, since the time of Al-Husayn radiallahu anhu all the way down, haven't they been, according to the Shia, haven't they been oppressed, and haven't they been wronged, and haven't they had problems, and they've never had their own state, they've never had their own country, they've never had an ability to come out. So according to the Shia, the role of the Mahdi is to do what? To come out and to give Ahl al-Bayt and the Shia of Ali and the Shia that I read today, to give them victory. They're nowhere to be seen. They're not allowed to fight jihad without the Mahdi. You can only fight jihad underneath an Imam. There's no Imam. So they're meant to be waiting for who? They're meant to be waiting for the Mahdi. So for over 1,000 or for 1,200 years, the Shia have been in need of this Mahdi, but he hasn't come out yet. Different to Ahl Sunnah. Ahl Sunnah, yes, we say the world, there's oppression in it, we say the world, there's problems in it, but also we're told to fight, and we're told to defend, and we're told to learn, and we're told to defend, we're told to rebuttal and refute. So that Ahl Sunnah, we work. Ahl Sunnah, we're continuously working. With the Shia, they're told to not do anything until this Imam comes out. So for 1,200 years, they've been in need of this Imam, and he still has not come out. When the Shia Mahdi does come out, similar to us also, he will be with the Isa alayhi salam. So yes, he will be with Isa alayhi salam. But different to us, we believe that the Mahdi is going to rule with what law? The Sharia of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The Shia believe he's going to come with something that's going to destroy our Sharia. There's something going to go against. Why? Because they believe he's going to bring back the rule what? Something very important. One of the tenets of your faith, the Quran. They say the Mahdi is going to bring back the real Quran. So the Quran that we have now, this is a lie. This is a fabrication. Some of them say it's not a fabrication, but it's only part of the real Quran. The real Quran is actually much more than this. And in the real Quran is what proves that they're right. But no one has that except for who right now? The Mahdi. So for 1,200 years Allah Azza wa Jalla has allowed the people to go astray and to fall into kufr because the Mahdi doesn't want to come out yet. Tayyib. When he comes, he's going to bring back the real Quran. He's going to fight who? Who are the main enemies of Ahl al-Bayt according to the Shia? Ahl al-Sunnah. Where we say the Mahdi is going to come and he's going to fight first he'll be with the disbelievers, then he'll be with they'll go reopen Constantinople, then they'll go back and they'll fight in Jerusalem. La. The Shia, they're that hell bent on hating Ahl Sunnah that the Mahdi is going to come back and he's going to fight first and foremost Ahl Sunnah. He's going to fight Ahl Sunnah, he's going to get the haqq of Ahl al-Bayt, then he might move on to other people. One of the things that some of the ulama have said, that the Mahdi comes and gets out of the graves, Abu Bakr and Umar radiallahu anhuma, and he crucifies them. This is one of the beliefs of the Shia. That's how much hatred they have towards the Sahaba of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, especially Abu Bakr and Umar radiallahu anhuma and Uthman radiallahu anhum. Some of the ulama of the Shia, this is what they said. How was he born? There's like so many other little things that again it's all contradictions, and you can tell it's fairy tales. One of the things about his birth, he was born out of the side of his mother. He wasn't born from the normal place where a woman gives birth. He was born out of the side of the mother. Some of the narrations say, this is from the Shia, some of the narrations say he was born out of the thigh of his mother. فخذها. Some of the narrations say that his mother was on top of all the slave girls that we mentioned, that his mother was actually a princess of the Romans who seen a dream that this person is going to give birth to the Mahdi, so go and give them victory. So she ran away from being a princess of the Romans and she went and acted like a slave so Al-Hassan can marry her so that she can give birth to this Mahdi. All nice fairy tales, and even the Shia they say, and this is probably far-fetched, there's a lot of things. These are all found in the books of the Shia. They say that he knows ilm al-ghayb, they say that because he's one of the ai they know ilm al-ghayb, they have control of the universe, that they don't die except through their permission, like the prophets. They're asked, do you want to die or do you want to stay? So they give them the choice. They're like, these are people that have super abilities. Now, and this is not the case. This is not the case. These are the main points of difference between us and the Shia regarding the Imam. There's a lot of little points, but you're going to get into details which even the Shia themselves, wallahi, they don't know. And as I mentioned, for those that know Arabic, whoever wants to get into a lot of detail, specifically about the Mahdi or about the Shia in general, but specifically about the Mahdi, Sheikh Uthman al-Khamis has very, very, very beneficial talks. Very beneficial talks just on the belief of the Shia through the belief of the Shia regarding the Mahdi. And he gives, as we know, he doesn't give anything from his own self or from Ahl Sunnah. He gets you the book and the page number of the main Shia books. Not there's some books of Ahl Sunnah, if you get to some of the Sufis, you find they say, Allah is in every single one of us. Obviously, these are extremes, and we wouldn't expect someone to say this is the belief of Ahl Sunnah, even though they say they're Sunni. The same thing when it comes to the Shia. The Sheikh doesn't take from the extremes. La, these people are different. But these are the main scholars, like At-Tusi, as we said, the books from like Al-Kafi. These are the like Bukhari and Sahih Muslim to us. These are the books that the Sheikh, Hafidhullah, uses. So Sheikh Uthman al-Khamis, whoever wants any precise details, you will find that the Shia in most matters are like the Jews and Christians, where they go directly opposite to Ahl Sunnah, directly opposite. The things that the Prophet ﷺ said to us, be different to the Jews and Christians in, you find they're like the Jews and Christians in everything. Be different to the Jews and Christians. We wear Sunnah caps, or we wear caps underneath our turbans. They don't wear caps. Something as simple as that. They don't want to wear caps. If Ahl Sunnah trim their moustaches, they want to grow their moustaches. That's why you find them. They have longer moustaches. Not as bad as the Jews and Christians, but much longer than Ahl Sunnah. If Ahl Sunnah say this is from Al-Hasan, they say la, this is from Al-Hussein. They go exact opposite to us. And you find a lot of that is in the Mahdi as well. Same thing Al-Mahdi. We say he's from here, they say la, he's from there. We say he's going to do this, they say la, he's going to do that. And he's going to fight he's going to bring back the Sharia of the Prophet ﷺ upon the Khilafah of the Ala Minhaj al-Nubuwah. La, he's going to, first people he's going to fight are the people that claimed it on the way of the Prophet ﷺ Sunnah. And everything is the opposite to us. Now, regarding the Shia in general, these are people that are from the most wicked of people. Now, they're from the most wicked of people. They claim that we're brothers and we get along, we should get along, and it's just a political difference. This is incorrect. This is incorrect. The proper belief of the Shia is kufr. The proper belief of the Shia is kufr. They believe that the Quran is incomplete, that they believe that the Quran is wrong. They believe that the people that carried the Islam to us, the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, they're kuffar. They believe that the wives of the Prophet ﷺ are kafirat. They believe that in the hereafter, or even in the dunya, they believe that their imams, they have knowledge like Allah, they have knowledge of the unseen. They believe that their imams are greater than the prophets. They believe that you can go and make dua to other than Allah, which is the act of worship. You can't give it to anyone other than Allah Azza wa Jal. They believe in the hereafter, that instead of you being accountable to Allah Azza wa Jal, you will first be accountable to Ahl al-Bayt, especially Ali radiallahu anhu. You won't enter Jannah except through Ali radiallahu anhu. Things that are complete shirk and kufr. Things that are complete shirk and kufr. The average Shi'i, do you say he's a kafir? You met a person, his name's Hassan, or they don't call Hassan. You met a person, his name's Hussein, and he says to you, Wallah, khayya, I'm a Shi'i. Do we say he's a kafir straight away? We don't say he's a kafir straight away. If he believes what the Shia believe, then yes, he's a kafir. Actual kafir, outside of the fold of Islam. If he's a person, he doesn't know his hand from his leg. He told you, Akhi, Wallah, I don't know anything. I know that we worship Allah and we follow the Prophet ﷺ, and that's all I know. What they say about the companions, Wallah, I don't know. What they say about the wives of the Prophet ﷺ, Wallah, I don't know. Do I believe the Quran is wrong? La, I don't believe the Quran is wrong. He doesn't say, I believe anything that is kufr. Then we believe that he's a mubtadi', he's an innovator, because he believes that Ali is better than Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. This is an innovation, but it doesn't reach the level of kufr. But if he has the belief of the actual Shia, which the majority do, then yes, we say this person is upon kufr. What are some of the implications when you say that the Shi'i or the Shia in general are kuffar? As a Muslim, you are not allowed to marry a murtad. You are allowed to marry a kafir asli from the Jews or the Christians. The Muslim man is allowed to marry a Christian or Jewish woman. I don't advise doing that in Australia. I don't believe it's allowed in Australia anyway. Because under Sharia, you have the authority. So your kids, like if anything happens when you and your wife in marriage, your kids stay with you as Muslims. But when it comes to Australia, the kids go where? The kids go with the mother. Naam, and so this father who thought, I'm going to raise Muslim children, the mother takes the children and they get raised as any Christians or atheists or whatever it may be. Shia, they're not a group that is good. and the differences between us and them are much bigger than that, which is simply based on politics. And inshallah, in the future, in a few years, inshallah, I hope to do a proper series on the beliefs of the Shia. Now, because we see how bad they were and what they've actually done against Islam. The Shia, take it as a golden rule, the Shia have done nothing for Islam. The Shia, throughout history, have done nothing for Islam except backstab who? Ahlul Sunnah. That's it. You will not find one group of the Shia that opened up a new land. That's all Ahlul Sunnah. From Al-Hijaz all the way left and right, the only people that opened up these new lands are Ahlul Sunnah. The ones that came and stabbed us in the back and took over certain parts of those lands were who? The Shia. The Shia done nothing good for Islam. Allah musta'an. هذا والله أعلم. صلى الله محمد وعلى آله محمد وصحبه أجمعين. سبحانك وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.